Okay, how's it going, guys? This is the first time I'm doing a video like this, but I came across this article and I figured, what the heck, why not pontificate on what it could possibly mean and uh, just my thoughts and opinions on this. So this article came from Texas Monthly about a possible, as you can see from the title, a proposed 1,500-mile cross-state hike, which is rather interesting. I have mixed feelings. So that's just a headline article, and this is the actual proposed uh, trail. Now, I don't. Yeah, I'm definitely kind of like conflicted and torn a little bit, because it's very, like, I've hiked some of those areas with the exception of Big Bend National Park, but from west to east Texas, central, I've hiked plenty of the parks all around there, all those little hiking trails, and and Texas definitely does have a very unique geography. It's kind of like a decent blend it's like a merging point between some of the mountains up in Guadalupe National Park. Then you got roving hills and plains, savanna areas, and then in central Texas, as well as when you start to hit eastern Texas, you start to see more of a piney forest. So you will definitely see a lot of unique landscapes and terrain. But comparing this to the big three, if you like follow any hiking news whatsoever, you might have heard of the Triple Crown of hiking, which is the Continental Divide, the Pacific Crest Trail, and the Appalachian Trail. Each of those are, I think, an extra. They will definitely be longer than this trail. So, in terms of like length, this is one of the shorter trails, or the shortest trail amongst the big three. But like, I've only been on part of the Appalachian Trails when I was up in the Smoky Mountains, and I know for a fact, like, some of the sites are not going to be as majestic as you would get from these other trails. I'm not too sure about the Continental Divide as much. Like, I've read up and seen just pictures of the other two, Pacific Crest and the Appalachian Trail. Both of which I would love. I don't know if I'd ever do a true hike through all of those trails. Like, maybe parts of them here and there, but backpack it through all the way is that's a big challenge on its own. But that's just besides the point. As far as like as much as I think this is I could see why they would want to try to make a trail like this, because it does offer something new and different, and it's, I guess, a way for Texas to kind of have its own thing, just like the U.S. other hiking trails do. But like I said, it does fall short when it comes to some of the sites you'll end up seeing, because there isn't a whole lot of. I mean, there is elevation gain between El Paso and Orange, but really, yeah, I'm just thinking, and it's like, this trail is just gonna have a lot of its own challenges, and yeah, I just see. I see this kind of not. Well, I mean, I don't know if they'll ever do it. I mean, if they do it, it's going to be like at least, a minimum 10 years before it's like fully done. But some of my concerns is that, yeah, once you get outside of El Paso, there's really nothing there. um, so this is definitely would be a trail that would be, I would say, absolutely dangerous in summer because between, as if you look on the map, like halfway between El Paso and Guadalupe Mountains, it's like halfway from there to about San Antonio, you have very, very little infrastructure there. I mean, you do have some small towns here and there, but yeah, you really don't have. There's like no. There's no big or major towns that you could really like stock up. Like maybe this trail might, make some new cities or improve some of those little towns in those areas, but man, it is going to be some rough hiking. Or at least half of this trail, you have like almost nothing, like no kind of like infrastructural support. Unlike like I understand like the Continental Divide, from what I've read, doesn't have much support, and it's considered, I think, the hardest of the three trails because it's not very well like, there's not good signage, is I guess what I was trying to say, in terms of like finding your path. So it can be easy to get lost if you don't have some great navigational skills, unlike the Appalachian Trail or the Pacific Crest Trail. But like I said, I've never been on either of most of them, so this is just hearsay from what I've heard. But I do know the Appalachian Trail is very well routed. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but there's definitely harder to get lost on the Appalachian Trail, and a little bit more you could get lost, I guess, in the Pacific Crest Trail. But even then, they still have signage, and you have a lot more like infrastructure support in those two trails. So this is going to be like the shortest trail, probably one of the most least supported trails as of right now. And so yeah, I just don't know, like, this is really, as cool as it would be to have, it just seems like it's I just hope it's well thought out. I haven't been able to read the article because it's behind a paywall that I'm just like, I don't really feel like paying to read this article right now. But but it's one of those things where even no matter what they say, until like a law gets passed or whatever, it's all hearsay, speculation. Just sees whatever happens. But yeah, at least from what I understand, from my general knowledge of reading about the big three, and then having some background knowledge of the Texas landscapes, yeah, the western portion is definitely the hardest. The eastern side, I think, wouldn't be too bad because going from San Antonio to Orange, you have quite a lot of there's a lot more towns where, like, if you needed to stay at a hotel or a hostel or get some resupplies, you could easily do that. Not so much on that western side. You'll have some very long stretches of road before you can get some help. So that's my opinion on that. I think it would be fun once they do finish it and see how it goes, but till then we have to just wait and see. But that brings me to my other point, because after reading this article, I kind of like got a little inspiration. Right here is the Since I'm based in the old San Antonio area, this may not be like the best map of. Move this up. Whoops. This may not be the best map, or probably the easiest to visualize or to see right now. I mean, because it is at an awkward angle, but the point is that San Antonio has a pretty extensive like greenway system, um, and reading that article kind of was making me like, I was rubbing some brain cells together, and was thinking of starting like a new like playlist that would I was thinking of starting a new series that would involve me just hiking from park to park, because I have not been using my GoPro as much since I've got it. I've used it for a few things, but once I got this new webcam, it's kind of like fallen to the wayside, and I've just been kind of like, how could I implement this into the channel? So one of the things I was starting basically, recording me walking from park to park. It wouldn't be a super in-depth talkative series, but it would be mostly just like, hey, getting a glimpse of all the parks, and eventually me hitting the rest of these parks. I've been to most of them, but a lot of the trails I haven't walked down all the way, because I just never had the motivation to do it. But like I said, I was rubbing some more brain cells. One thought leads to another, and one of my biggest goals was to eventually climb Mount Rainier, and so with that, needing to actually build up my cardio and endurance, I figured this would actually be a very effective way of doing that. Just getting more steps in, and acclimating a little bit. Well, not really acclimating, but we're at least getting my feet more used to like really putting some miles back in them. Because ever since I left the army, because I'll admit, because it definitely, I definitely need to start getting some more miles back in my feet, because I need to build up that cardio endurance, because ever since I started hitting the weights, that cardio aspect just kind of really fell into decline. But this would be a good way to start. I'm hoping to start once the temperatures start to drop a little bit more, because some of these parks in the hot heat of the summer can be very brutal, unfortunately. So I would need to kind of just wait until like the temperatures drop, and then I'll get started. I'm not exactly entirely sure when I'm going to end up finishing this series, because some of these hikes are a bit long, and some parks have some pretty big distances between them. So the logistics of traveling back and forth is something I have to look into. So as much as I would have loved to like start from like one end and then finish, going around to another block, would have been like so awesome if I could have done that. But realistically speaking, I'm probably just going to be jumping back and forth between different parks here and there, and jumping back and forth between different parks. And I'm looking forward to this project, because I think it would be fun, a way to get outdoors, get some good exercise, as well as really explore some of these areas that I haven't been to, because I've been to most of these parks but not all of them, and of course I haven't walked or even seen all the trails and where they go. So I think that would be pretty cool and pretty fun. So I'm excited to start this series here soon. It'll probably, I'm hoping by November, temperatures drop enough to where it's not so bad, because that would just mean less water I have to carry. And plus And plus, starting this series would actually start to include different content into my YouTube channel, like I have said in the past, where I really don't want this to be just purely gaming. I do want to like add some more like general life type of things, you know, like fitness and, you know, outdoorsy stuff too. So this would be a good starting point. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to this series once I get everything ready and start planning things out a little bit, and start recording myself on the old trails. So yeah, so thank you guys for watching. You know, hope y'all like and subscribe, and tune in more for when this series starts.